Thank you very much for joining us and looking at the issue of drug abuse in Nigeria. And just as I mentioned earlier, we have members of the Paroche Reach Out Foundation. It's an NGO that deals with subjects like this and talking about rehabilitation of drug addicts. And of course, sending a message out to Nigerians, especially the young ones, about the dangers of substance use. Do know that you can be part of the show. The phone line is still open, 0905 0098 You can also use the WhatsApp number on your screen to send in your messages. Please do not leave out our social media platforms, facebook.com/Rave TV channel and on Twitter @Rave TV channel. Use the hashtag Morning Rave, and before you send those messages concerning the use of substance in Nigeria, especially amongst youth. It's been said that about 40% of Nigerians, of young people, involved in substance use. But let me welcome our guest. We're talking about Titilayo Adebayo. She's the Executive Director of Paroche Reach Out Foundation. Good morning, Ma. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And of course, Adelakun Muyioluwa. She's the legal advisor of the NGO too, talking about the Paroche Reach Out Foundation. Good morning. Thank you very much for also being with us this morning. Yes, let me start with Mrs. Titilayo. Looking at the issue of drug abuse in Nigeria, many young people don't feel that they are addicted to it. Because when you talk about addiction, what comes to play, or the picture it paints is the movies where you see them with their hair all unkempt, looking, behaving erratic. But they feel that as long as they don't, they don't behave in that way, they're not addicted to it. So what would you say about young people who use recreational drugs but feel they're not addicted to it?
Yeah, getting addicted is different from just using and abusing a drug.
Okay.
So it is important for us to be able to give a demarcation between abusing drug and getting addicted.
Okay.
So this morning, I need to let people know that when you abuse drug, you generalize it because we prefer to call it substance, okay, because it's a bit global. Yes. So if you abuse substances like, drug generally, let me put it that way, so that everybody will be in the picture. It can be prescription drug. And it can be the psychoactive drugs, which, has... Psychoactive that can affect your thoughts, your moods. When you take these substances, it will affect your behavior. And these are mood-changing drugs that go straight into the brain and affect the way in which you react to the issues. So moods, thoughts, behavior, those drugs that you take that go straight into it, they are substances. They are psychoactive substances. And when you abuse drug, over time you can get addicted. Okay. So it is clear for us to be able to let people know, the young ones, even the adult, that when we take these psychoactive drugs, or even some prescription drugs, and we use it not following the right prescription, it can also be abused, and you can get addicted.
Addicted to it. So really, the addiction is not just, because when you look at addiction, I'm finding a way that some people, they don't behave erratic. They don't behave in that way, but they keep on taking that drug, And the argument they will prefer to use that, no, since I'm not behaving, since not having that kind of effect that you just described on me, that means I'm free, I'm quite okay. Are they okay? Would you say these people are fine?
The fact that they don't have they seems not to have any symptoms to show that they are erratic or this, doesn't mean that they are okay. But it is important for us to actually let us know when that addiction sets in. Because when you are an occasion, you use social user, you use it in just once in a blue moon, it may not go into that level of addiction. Then when you now become a social user, maybe weekend, thank God it's Friday, you have a party, and then you use it, you may not necessarily be you are not addicted.
Okay.
But when you now graduate, or let me move into a level whereby you use it over the weekend, and then you feel, let me take it during the week, and it will affect your, you want to keep taking, you feel like taking it every time. And you feel you need to increase it, that it's not working, it's not doing that, I don't feel high the way I want to. Then, and when it affects your pattern of life, you want to leave some things, you just want to stick to that taking of that alcohol. I just feel like taking it, it doesn't really matter, I must take it.
Okay.
When it comes to that level, you are getting addicted.
When you speak about substance abuse, you spoke about how so many youths right now are getting addicted to substance abuse. What exactly is the cause? Why do we see so many young people going to this route to deal with whatever they're dealing with?
Okay. Basically, we live in a generation that is driven by technology, internet, things that people see on social media spoils up their imaginations. They want to do, they see it. And then a lot of music videos right now from the popular Nigerian artists, you can see them popularizing this act. They've normalized it. What used to be look so wrong has become so normal. And so even those who are not using look strange. They look weird because, come on, everybody else is doing it. And then people have also, young people, for example, have seen drugs as sort of like a way out, a kind of box that they can put themselves in when the troubles of life start, and then they're feeling so pressured and they feel like, oh, how can I relieve myself of this pain? How can I come out of this? And then drugs are the way out. So social media plays a very important role in this part, and as well as the different issues people face. People have now used drugs as a way out.
Like an escape.
Yeah, like an escape. At Parache, we started a web series recently called Love and Other Drugs. It's a compelling story of a young girl, a young teenage girl who was dragged by, we titled Love and Other Drugs because it's her experience through love, how love, or lost in quotes, dragged her into making wrong decisions and taking drugs and everything. And as well, we are currently running a project called the study of the prevalence of psychoactive substances among Nigerian youths, which is currently, the process is ongoing. Now we want to know, like, what exactly are the statistics, because currently in Nigeria now, there is no statistics to prove, okay, how many percent of people are using this and that, do you understand? So that's why we have taken it upon ourselves to do. We know it's going to be cumbersome, it's going to be stressful, but God willing, it's going to be a successful project.
Okay, is that a problem of knowing, because when you mentioned about statistics, that we don't have, the facts, we don't have a proper statistics that say, okay, these are the kind of drugs people use. Is that problem from the angle of that we don't really know what to term, drugs that shouldn't be, that can actually cause problems, that people can be addicted to it? Because if you look at it, there's some, away from the normal codeine and other things that young people take, you see them visiting places, those are little women who sell paraga and all those kind of things. Some even take cola nuts constantly, and they get addicted to it.
Yes.
And when you tell them these are substance abuse, they say no, it is not. Really, what would you call, what kind of looking at cola nuts, looking at those paraga, how would you grade drugs that you can point at and say these are the kind of drugs that can lead to substance abuse?
For instance, when you use some drugs that are definitely illicit drugs, like cocaine, heroin, cannabis, Igbo that we call mushroom, we classify these ones as illicit drugs, which the society is not comfortable about. Well, although I heard recently that a country in the south of Africa has legalized it, and they have approval to actually go into massive plantation. However, the prescription drug, which is very common, like codeine, like what do you call it? The cough syrup, the Tenanol. These are drugs that you can get addicted to easily. And you want to use 2 tablets, you discover that it's not good enough. Let me increase it. These are things like the paraga you talk about,
those concussions.
which and then the different things.
Yeah.
Even alaboko, that if you use it in a degree that is not prescribed,
yeah,
you get addicted. Once you take something and you feel the urge to keep taking it, keep having the urge to take it, you discover that if there's no control, you get addicted. After getting addicted, you can graduate in such a way that you may not be able to get out of it. Then you have the withdrawal syndrome. Once you want to stop, and you can't stop because you keep having pain. So when you get to that level, you need help. So it is important for the society, our youth, to know that drug abuse can easily set in when you don't watch what you take, both prescription drug or illicit drug. Illicit drug is not something we should encourage. However, prescription drug is where I'm emphasizing that we should please watch it. Opium is there, pain relief is also part of it, which you can get addicted to.
Okay.
But beyond that, sorry to cut short. Beyond that, I feel like it's also a sort of cultural problem. Because we have cultures that promote cola nuts, speaking of cola nuts, do you understand? So these things are promoted by our culture, palm wine and all of that. Yeah. People do not realize, sometimes you see them, they say, oh, agbolam, we are taking agbo.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with,
There's nothing wrong with that.
So it is the culture behind it, propagating this is also a problem. Because this is not something our culture is upon. If I'm going to get married today in some cultures, they will probably pour semen, all those things.
The libation.
Drink it, yes, libation. And do you understand? These are things that have been imbibed in our culture. So that is the deeper problem, because culture is something you can't take out of a person. It's something that is passed on from human being to human being. So I feel like as the jet age sets in, as we grow, parents, thank God for Christianity and different moral values now, some of these things should be put away. I feel like it will help, because if the culture continues to propagate that, no matter how much we say, no, don't take this, they say, something that we've been doing since yesterday,
exactly.
our forefathers have done it. Do you understand? So,
you know, but before we continue with it, because I know Lola is about to ask the question, but we need to take a quick break and return to continue with the discussion. So do remember that the phone line is still open, as well as all of our social media platforms, as well as the WhatsApp number on your screen where you can send messages. But let's do that when we return. So stay with us. Thank you for staying with us, and on Let's Talk, the discussion is still on the drug problem, drug addiction, substance abuse in Nigeria. It has become something that, you know, especially celebrities do even glorify on the videos or even put it on Instagram and all of that. But we still have our guest with us, Titilayo Adebayo, the Executive Director of Paroche Reach Out Foundation, and of course, Adelakun Muyi Oluwa, the legal advisor, you know, to discuss this very present issue, you know. But Lolo was about to go with her questions before we went on the break, so go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to ask, because I know that you have programs that you do in secondary schools as well. How often do you see like secondary school students addicted to drugs? Because this is something that wasn't popular back then in secondary school. It started when you were in university. How often do we get addiction in secondary schools now?
Okay, like I said earlier, there are no statistics right now in Nigeria to prove the amount or the particular number, and that is why we are embarking on that project to actually find out, so that we will speak with facts and not just assume. But if we were to generalize based on the things, the kind of effects we see now, most people, I was the president of Paroche Reach Out Foundation back in Babcock University, which I graduated from in June. And most times when I come in contact with people that wanted to come out of drug addiction, what they always used to say was that, when I asked when was the first time you took this, you hear SS2, SS3, it happens a lot around the range of SS1 to SS3. That's usually the time distance setting, because now you are going into, this is when the teenage years are beginning. You are beginning to realize yourself. You want to be cool. You want to fit in. You want to be among the in crowd. You are. This is like a journey of self-realization just starting now, and so the influences, music videos, and all of these things are very keen at this point in time, and so that is why you realize that around this range, SS1 to SS3, you see that there are a lot of people that start taking drugs for the first time here and then become addicted as it goes gradually, because drug addiction is not something that starts overnight. It's a process.
True.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned music video, and truly, I do agree with you that music videos are one of those platforms where young people get influenced and they start using things like this. Although I would say we should regulate music videos or what are the content of it. What would you suggest that we should do concerning this act that are being portrayed both in music videos, films, and whatever it is that young people every day watch and maybe influence, you know?
Knowing the number of damage, knowing the gravity of the damage caused by the use of substances, we will be able to tell the media or the social media that are into, you know, promoting this, like the pipe. I watched recently the one that you have to take through pipe, and then you just pump it in, and then you keep passing.
They call
pipe.
it a shisha.
Shisha. So if such, when they watch it, the young ones want to experiment. They just want to try, and then in the process they go psychotic. It will affect their mental health. It can ruin their career, ruin their destiny, and we have all over the place. So it is important for the social media or the world of entertainment to modify, to see the destructive effects, and see how we can make the society a better place.
Yeah, but is it really a choice? Because that's what some people will tell you, especially those who portray it on the music video. They'll tell you they're not responsible for what happens. It's whoever's choice to go about it, you know. And again, you have to look at the family background. What would you say? How important is it that families should also be, you know, should be the first line of defense when it comes to issues like this?
An ideal society, in an ideal society, a home setting is something that is critical. When an individual in the family is addicted or has substance abuse disorder, you discover that the whole family is involved. The whole system gets distorted. The family gets into suspicion, you know, disarray, panicky, and security-wise, it's affected. The society is affected. The home is affected. Health is affected, and then the whole system really get distorted. So I think the family has a role to play. Parents are advised to look and take good care of their children. See what they do every day. Watch, interact with your children. Talk to them, befriend them, know the type of friends they keep, and when they have questions, be there to answer. Not just sending money, but be there to be part of their life. And in such a way, they will be, even when they are faced with all these challenges in the society, they will be able to define the right way to go.
Okay.
I just want to ask though, who would you think that we should hold responsible for this? Because if we are looking at, you know, over-the-counter drugs, the pharmacist knows that this boy has come here 10 times to buy this drug,
Exactly.
but he keeps selling the drugs to the boy. He knows the boy is abusing it, but this is the way he makes money. So do you think that we should hold maybe pharmacists responsible, or the women that sell, you know, alcohol to underage boys? Or do we put the blame on the parents or the blame on the people themselves who are going there to buy the drugs? Because it feels like there needs to be someone that we need to hold accountable and say, you know what, if the underage boys are doing this, you tell them no, that we're not giving it to you. So who do you think should be held accountable in all of this?
I think the society itself needs to be educated. There needs to be a proper awareness. The government will have to put some rules in place that there are some drugs that must not be off-counter. There's some that you can purchase directly, and there are some ages, you will not be allowed to come and buy. There are some rules that must be in place, and I think our legal...
Okay, it's not like these laws are absent. The NDLEA is working, which is National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. They're working so hard to curb these excesses. For example, I was traveling from Lagos to Abuja by road, and there were so many stops by NDLEA agents to search for. So they're working, but they can do so much more. Do you understand? Because the average pharmacy on Ojuelegba Road probably doesn't even have a license. It's just selling drugs, and they come for stomach ache, they give it out, they do. Something even happened recently around Ojuelegba, because I have access to that area, and there was this young child who had been convulsing over a long period of time, and then they could not really figure out what exactly was wrong with him. And the pharmacist kept on giving drugs, tried this, tried that, until the child eventually gave up and died. They were still, do you understand? So Nigerians still have this mentality about drugs, self-medication, all these things. Do you understand? The law is there, but it can be more alive. It can be enforced properly. If these people know that they are answerable, if there is the way they come to pack area boys on street, all those things that they come frequently, the way, do you understand? If there could be search for drugs for pharmacists around too, I feel like it will improve.
That's the pharmacist you're talking about. But the pharmacists buy from somewhere, you know.
They get it.
They get it. What about where, because the huge pharmaceutical companies that they buy from, what about looking at how they can sort of one way or the other know the kind of drugs they sell to these people, especially if you're running, it depends on the kind of pharmacy you're running, and know that there are certain drugs you cannot sell to certain pharmacy. Would you say that would be the right way to go about?
That would be an amazing format of doing it. It will also help. Okay. Like checking the licenses, everything. Let it be up to book before they can even hand out these drugs to them, because you're handing people's lives over to these people. It's not a joke. And if they realize how important this is, people just feel like they just said, okay, to relieve pain and all of that. They don't realize the gravity, the kind of responsibility that lies on their shoulders. And I feel like they need to be, like she said, society needs to be sensitive. They need to be taught, they need to understand these things properly, and then.
My question is this, is the fact that with the young people, we talk about how we have a high level of unemployment in the country, right? Which means that we have a higher poverty rate with the youth. But regardless of the fact that we have a high poverty rate, these youths always have money to purchase these drugs. How does this affect the cycle of poverty? Because if we give them 1,000, they don't see how they can use it to do something else. They just see how they can use it to buy that drug that they need at that moment. How does this affect the cycle of poverty with the young people right now?
Let me say, when a young person decides that, oh, I've got to use this money to buy drug, not food, it's addictive. It's already addicted. And it needs care, it needs treatment. Okay.
All right, sorry, Ma. We have a caller on the line. Let's just listen to him or her. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Mba.
It's one of cause of kids numbers. And it's not that because they're going to I was going to our doctor's implant.
Yeah.
And
oh, sorry, Mba, please do call back. At a point, the line got really distorted. We couldn't hear what you were saying. You can also send that message, compare your message to us via the WhatsApp number on your screen to actually reach out to us and ask the questions. You were saying something before he actually concerning
young people and time and
yeah. I'm trying to
poverty, and if,
yes,
you buy food drug instead of food, you're already addicted.
Yeah, they say that if you now decide that it is the food, the drug that is more important than food, it means there's addiction. Addiction has set in, and that individual needs treatment and detoxification counseling. So it is important for us to be able to tell the young one how to manage, how to live a life free of drug. The awareness must be there, the knowledge, the education, maybe in secondary school, let there be a platform whereby schools will be, students will be taught what is the detrimental effect of substance use, abuse, and they will be able to decide, because it's a choice, that this area is no go for them.
Would making the drugs expensive, certain kind of drugs expensive, be a solution? Because
Absolutely not.
Not at all.
certain drugs that looking at it and so that it becomes unaffordable, for them.
It is not just for the poor. You discover that no matter your level, if you are poor, you have your own class. If you are rich, you have your own too. So it is not about whether you have the cash or not.
I want to talk from the perspective of a young person. When you want something, for example, now, let me use this as an example. I see a beautiful dress on Instagram that I really want. I can starve for a whole month. I can cut down a lot of things, make sure that I get enough money to get that dress. Do you understand? That's the same desire for drugs. That's why you see that drugs are treated with so many vices, like stealing, murder, and all of this, because they'll get to that point where they can do absolutely anything to get the money to buy this.
Still staying with you, looking at it, because what some school of thought have actually profiled as a solution, and which some other countries have also seen and felt that it's a way of solution, is legalization of some of these drugs. They believe that once you legalize it, the people get tired of it, and they run out of that desire to always have it. Do you think that to an extent, legalization like for marijuana and some other drugs would actually help in reducing the abuse of such drugs or substance?
America employed that strategy.
Yes.
And we're still waiting for the positive feedback for that. And we have a culture in Nigeria. There are some things, if you give this mile, if you give this little bit of a mile, the results will be disastrous.
Okay.
Because we don't have a system that works up to that point where we can monitor, okay, yes, we can do this, we'll legalize it. Those countries are advanced. They can actually say, okay, these are the amount of people that got this kind of drugs. They have statistics, they have this research work done already. They have a working
which we don't
system,
have.
Which we don't have here. So doing that here would not be it would take a worse toll, a downhill toll, in fact.
Even where they legalize it, you discover that at a level, they will not be able to tell you, look, this one will give you an overdose and you will die. So it is now your choice to live or to die. And anyone will make money out of it. So it is important for individual to look at, define what they want, and know that if I want to live, I will go for it. If I want to die, I will take this. So it is a choice but it's good for those who are naive to know that these things can destroy.
Okay.
We have a WhatsApp message. This is CJ from Ikoyi. He said, if I decide to take codeine once a month on my monthly outing with friends, am I addicted? I might as well have been curing the cough before it comes.
CJ wants to know that. Okay. Do you want to comment on that?
Let me comment. Okay. It's just like the normal way we feel in Nigeria. That's why I said there's a culture of self-medication we have in Nigeria, which needs to stop. I start feeling a bit of pain in my shoulders and my leg, and I convinced myself that this is malaria. And so I start taking malaria drugs to cure a sickness that has not even manifested itself first. You are not addicted, but you are on the right path to addiction, because you are taking something, you're taking codeine before you don't have this cough. You are not sure if it's going to come, but you are feeling like it's going to come, and so you start taking it. Unless the doctor prescribes it to you, if you are taking a drug without proper prescription, you are abusing it. It's as simple as that. There are no two ways to couch these things.
Okay, I think we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Please, do you mind speak up a bit louder?
All right. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Hello? Are you hearing me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Loud and clear. Go ahead.
All right. Good morning once again.
Isiaka, thanks for joining us again.
Good morning to you again there.
Okay.
All right. You think what I want to say is my two there is that you don't tell us that bring that much.
Yes.
And those are my enemies. They are not that crazy.
Okay.
They are not that crazy. The body that can stop that. are encouraging them. I'm telling you what our position, all of them. There is none of them exceptional. Two, we are going to tell people to gather it, to give them money, to pay for it, to pay marijuana, to pay trouble, to pay all those kinds of stuff. Because people will run. And in addition, the government policy is not only of our kings now. They are all of that people and COVID is a common substance. If they are not saying something here, but the government is not from at the other point, it's giving a level of intelligent power. And then you see from another job now. So it's common. The government are not helping back.
Okay.
Therefore, I'm saying, if God will take us to get back.
Okay.
I think the very good. I think it's not out. And it's also that there are a lot of things. I will show you different things, different things. That you don't see that it's funny. So that's it. That's really popular. So what are you telling me?
Okay.
Position is going to follow that. You get them on, don't find that.
All right.
So why you tell your own check out for 2 people? How you tell me that? Look, how you tell me that? We have to understand.
Okay.
So that's good.
Isaka. Okay. I really didn't quite get the last part of what he was talking about. I do know that he was saying the government is at fault, you know, and if I'm correct, he also mentioned about how politicians are even aiding or, you know, helping, would I say help, or, you know, encouraging these young people to keep taking drugs because of some of their political activities. They want these young people to support them. They give them money, which these young people feel that they can use in buying drugs to keep themselves
Agile.
agile.
I think we have a WhatsApp message.
If you don't mind, let's that message be back on the screen. But looking at it, before that message comes up, you know, can you just explain what the long or the short term of drug abuse is, or the long term of what such a substance abuse
Sorry,
is?
before you go, let me just quickly
Okay.
read this. This is Fabian from Abuja. This issue of drug has really become a big business in Nigeria today. There is nowhere in this country that you go without seeing an Igbo shop of drug abuse.
Wow. Well, quite. That's its own take anyway. But back to the question I was asking, the short and long term of substance abuse.
Yeah, for you to go into substance abuse and feel you're okay, it's evil, it's detrimental. So if you go into substance abuse and you graduate into getting it, you know, into your system, it will destroy the health. It will destroy most of the organs in the body gradually. It will affect the brain because it will initially appeal like motivation. It's actually motivating. When you take drugs, it makes you even feel like you're being motivated to be very, very happy. Feel happier. Feel, you know, agile, feel like you want to, you know, fight, you feel irritable, you can feel like shouting, you remove shyness.
Or even feel invincible.
Invincible, like flying without wings. So these are things that you feel motivated and you get that idea that, look, it's working. But gradually, you keep having this slowness because sometimes, well, there are different classification of drugs, which are like, we have the stimulant, we have the depressant, we have the hallucinogen, and we also have these things, they react differently, affect the brain differently. Some will make you to feel very, very active, whereas some will make you feel sleepy. Some will make you to feel distorted and as if you just want to. And at the end of the day, if care is not taken, most people that have overdose, they have cardiac arrest and eventually pass.
Okay, all right. The WhatsApp message, I hope we will have it back on the screen again.
Okay.
You know.
He said, I agree. He said that in every part of Nigeria there is an Igbo shop. Where they sell drugs. I agree that the issue of drug abuse is one that is now a nationwide problem. But to classify it to an ethnic group is what I do not agree with, because the recent resolution on at the national Assembly,
Yeah.
National Assembly, yes, was that there's rampant drug abuse in the northern part of Nigeria. Do you understand? A place where we would not expect this to happen because the penal code punishes for drinking, for alcoholism. It is very strict. That's something that we don't have over here in the south. But then there are law specifically says, and this kind of things happen just to show you how much this problem has graduated. The problem of drug abuse nationwide is one that can be acclaimed to different issues. Can be, some people say, oh, it's when I have problems, when I feel somehow. Some people it's because of the sensitization from social media. Different things influence it. And so to say there is an Igbo shop is wrong. But what I would say is that we as a people, we as a country, there's so much more we can do to stop this problem. You notice that after a while we just talk about it and then we sweep it under the rug, just like every other thing that we do. But then if we take gradual steps to combat this issue, to support the different NGOs, different initiatives that are fighting against this mental health, they celebrated 10 years, I think, was it?
Yes.
Yesterday. This movement, they don't have enough support. They're not, their voices are not loud enough. They're not heard. And so we need to start encouraging these forums to help.
But let's go to your foundation. What's the foundation doing about, I'm talking about Paroche. What are the various methods you've employed in trying to reduce this, substance abuse? And I also know that you are involved in rehabilitation. So what is the length of time that someone can actually be rehabilitated and then can be absorbed back into the society?
Yeah, we are into massive public awareness program, going to schools, organization, synthesizing the society about the detrimental effect of substance abuse. We also have a post-rehabilitation center in Abeokuta right now, and we intend to, when we have enough support, go through, have all these post-rehabilitation all over Nigeria. And we do crisis management. We do referrals for rehabilitation to organize or organize rehabilitation centers. We don't have a rehab for now, but like Adam, just, open a very multinational, million naira worth of center. These are issues, the organizations that we want to back up. We also have family intervention, whereas when we have the post-rehabilitation is to help the individual who has gone through rehab to have a soft landing into the society and to avoid relapse, because addiction is the brain disease, which is relapsive.
Okay, all right.
I think we have a quick one. I'm going to read it quickly. He said, good morning, you guys are doing a very good job. Drug is like the new trend these days. We see girls and guys these days doing drug just to get high. And when you ask them, they will tell you the situation of the country is not funny. So they have to get high to live in the country. What are your advice to people like them? This is Kola from Lagos State.
Running away from a problem has never been the solution to that problem. In life, we are going to face a lot of issues. The Bible says that many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord is able to bring us out of each and every one of them. Do you understand? So issues, trials, tribulations, they come with life. They make you stronger. They make you a better person. So drugs can never be the way out. Instead of it being the way out, it is the way into greater darkness than you were before. So drugs are not the problem. Yes, the situation of the country is hard. What are you doing? Think about it. Thank God for the way the world is now. You don't have to wait for anybody to bring an opportunity to you. You can sit down right where you are, think about it. God has blessed me. I came to this world for a purpose. What can I do with the gifts that I've been given? And start from there and mix. And before you know it, you begin to grow and become a voice, a positive impact right there in your world.
Okay, do you mind taking this?
Just the last one quickly. It says, I know people that use coffee to read and are literally addicted to it. Can you talk about the side effects, please? This is Yemi from Lagos.
That's coffee. Yeah, that's another.
I think that's one of the drugs that is glamorized as,
and people take it every time, not knowing that, they feel addicted to it. Some people drink it constantly. And,
when they take this thing, after a while, you see them having tremor. When you see the hand shaking, there's tremor, and it's affecting the nervous system. And if care is not taken, you keep taking it and you cannot stop, it means you need medical treatment. You need to be detoxified.
Okay, thank you very much, Titilola Adebayo. I've been calling you Titi. It's actually Titilola Adebayo. She's the Executive Director of a Paroche Reach Out Foundation. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. And also Adelakun Moyioluwa. She's the legal advisor of Paroche Reach Out Foundation. It's been a very interesting discussion this morning, and we do hope that in future you also join us to discuss other issues.
We want to have a program for community-based approach to this, so that in different community we want to have the youth coming together, maybe having football, having sports and art work, dance troupe, and the rest of it, so that we can publicize and get it around. So we need the support of the community.
Of course.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
and whatever we can do, we will support you. Thank you very much to our viewers too for tuning in this morning and calling in and sending your message. It's been a very interesting one. Once again, I'll say, and until we come your way again tomorrow morning, same time, have a wonderful Wednesday, and bye for now.
What time is it? Yeah. Jack it up. Jack it up. Jack it up.